I knew the lock had been turned from the inside because it fought me like a stranger. I'm Marco. I work maintenance for a high-rise downtown. Boilers, elevators, all the stubborn things in a building that need a patient hand. At home, I'm the man who fixes the stuck drawer, the man who knows when a hinge is lying. That night, our bedroom door met my key with a soft, guilty give. You only get that feel when a thumb turns a deadbolt from the other side and someone opens it for you like nothing is wrong. Someone was in my place who knew how to pretend. Nora was in the kitchen with museum hands, moving things without touching them. The orange citrus smell on her sweater wasn't ours. Her laugh came 2 seconds late, the way laughs do when they're copying themselves. She said she'd been at a late debrief with her outreach team. She runs donations for a nonprofit that hosts black tie guilt in ballrooms. I nodded and took the cap off a pen I wasn't holding. It didn't start with the lock. It started with the little migrations. Our cat, Ruby, started sleeping by the front door like she was waiting for an appointment. There was a toothbrush in the holder that wasn't mine. Charcoal bristles, the kind hotels think are fancy. Our laundry had a t-shirt folded wrong, with that crisp department store crease down the middle. The thermostat log showed someone bumping the heat at 1:13 a.m. when I was on a night shift. The phone charger on my side of the bed showed new teeth marks from a cable being yanked out in a hurry. My life is screws and threads and torques. You start seeing patterns even when you don't want to. I didn't break her phone. I didn't turn into a lurker in my own house. I made a list, because that's what I know. Dates, receipts, what moved and when. On Tuesdays there were ride shares from a hotel 3 blocks from Nora's office, the Caledonia, drop-offs outside our building right before dawn. The bar there sells a signature cocktail with smoked orange peels. The smell was living in our hallway rug. His name introduced itself by accident. Nora took a call on speaker while she hunted for earrings in the bathroom. "Ethan, I can't," she said, and then turned the volume down but not fast enough. I met him later in a photograph on her laptop, a group shot from a fundraiser. He stood behind her shoulder like the world had been arranged that way. A smile with too many teeth, a suit that remembered the hanger, a confidence you could rent by the hour. In the caption, Ethan Drake, Programs Director, Boyfriend, while I was still husband. The titles didn't fit in the same drawer. Revenge, when I first said the word to myself, sounded like smashing a glass. Instead I called a lawyer named Imani who talked like she was teaching a class she'd taught 100 times and still cared about. "What do you want?" she asked, clean as a wrench. "Not the scene. The outcome." "I want a clear line," I said. "No yelling. No second drafts. I want to keep Ruby. Every vet bill is in my name, and I am the one up at 6. I want my tools, the savings I brought into the marriage, the truck I paid off. I don't want to hurt her. I want to stop being hurt." "Then you make it boring," she said. "Boring is what ends things." So I moved my direct deposit to a new account. I printed 6 months of statements and ringed the Tuesdays. I made copies of the lease and the title to my truck. I booked a mobile notary for Friday at 9, labeled on Nora's shared calendar as board docs. I asked our landlord, who likes me because I fixed the water heater for free, how to process a lease assignment. He said, "You okay, kid?" The way older men say things when they can see you holding something heavy and not dropping it. I said, "I will be." Nora invited me to a Thursday Partners Appreciation Mixer at her office, which is to say a party to thank people like me for smiling in the photos. Glass walls, catered cheese, a speech about impact with a slide deck full of numbers that pretend to be feelings. Ethan was there, shorter in person, with eyes that measured rooms like they belonged to him if he stood in them long enough. He shook my hand and did that squeeze men do when they want their hands to be convincing. "Marco," he said, like he already knew my name would be the problem. People clinked glasses. A woman with a clip-on mic said all the words that make donations happen. When the applause faded, I stepped forward before anyone could put on music. "Can I borrow 2 minutes?" I asked, holding up exactly 2 fingers. No mic. I didn't need volume, I needed direction. "I'm Nora's husband," I said, because labels still count even when you're about to peel them off. "I fix things for a living." Sometimes the way you fix a thing is you stop pretending it's not broken. Ava from events smiled at me like there was about to be a proposal. There was, just not the kind she expected. I set a folder on the cocktail table. It had construction trucks printed on it because the stationer was out of plane, and irony is a clumsy friend. "This is a quick inventory," I said. Tuesday nights. The Caledonia Bar. Ride shares at 1:07 a.m., 12:58 a.m., 1:19 a.m. Orange peel charges on the tab. A keycard Nora didn't bring up because it belongs to a room she doesn't live in. No photos, no texts, just timestamps that don't lie. The room made that breathless sound groups make when they realize they're witnessing something unedited. Ethan took a step back without admitting it. Nora reached for my forearm the way a person reaches for a handrail at the top of stairs when they suddenly remember a step is missing. "I'm not here to beg," I said. "I'm here to do paperwork." I slid a second packet out. Imani's work in sober fonts. "Separation agreement, filed tomorrow. Lease assignment, signed by Nora this afternoon under the heading Insurance. Title to my truck. Bank records proving savings predate the marriage. I'm taking Ruby because I feed her, and because she thinks my chest is a hill she owns at night. Nora, you keep the couch you found, the coffee table from your sister, the prints you made with that old film camera. I'm taking the tools, the books with my name in them, the cast iron skillet I learned to season properly, the kettle that squeals like a bird." Nora started to cry, quietly. The way you cry when you realize the real punishment isn't rage, it's accuracy. "Marco," she said, and my name broke in the middle. "Please, not—" "I already did the please," I said. "You were late to it." Ethan tried to square himself toward me like he stumbled into a pep talk he could lead. "We're adults," he said, because men like him put that word in place of apologies. "We can discuss this privately." "You had private for months," I said. "This is the exit." I didn't raise my voice. I watched the numbers on the slide behind us hold steady, as if the room wanted to pretend math would help. The executive director cleared her throat and did the brave, boring thing. She walked to Nora, put a hand on her shoulder, and said, "Why don't we take a moment? Not hard, just decent." I turned to the admin team. "Thank you for working late," I said, because it's a reflex. Workers see workers. "Sorry to interrupt your shift." Then I turned to Nora with the same steady voice I use on pipes that want to scream. "I'll be gone by Saturday. The keys on the ring labeled M are yours. The ones with the red tag are mine. I'll drop a copy of the mailbox key in the bowl. The cat's carrier will be out of the hall by 10. You don't have to avoid me. You just have to be done finding out who you are." I left before anyone could give me a hug I'd resent later. In the elevator, a donor with too much cologne stared at the ceiling like it would open. Outside, the night air felt like it had been waiting for me to stop holding my breath. At home, Ruby jumped into the carrier like she'd memorized the plan. I packed a duffel. The door clicked behind me properly, the way doors do when they're not lying. I dropped the ring in the dish where Nora keeps her hairpins, with a note under it that read, "Locks are promises. Please stop making them to rooms you don't intend to keep." The sublet I'd lined up was a box with a window that looked out on a bakery vent that exhaled at 6 in the morning. I loved it instantly. Ruby did the tour, under the bed, behind the radiator, back to me, and then turned one slow circle in the middle of the rug before lying down like she had found North. Imani called to confirm filings. "You did well," she said. "You were boring." "It felt like a superpower," I said. And it was. That night I cooked eggs and laughed because they tasted like themselves. At 10, the heat thunked on. I slept. People say the worst part is catching them. Maybe. For me, it was the months of being the only witness. The catch was a mercy. It gave the story an end I could read out loud without stuttering. It gave me my hands back for things that don't lie when you turn them. The face of a wrench, the true click of a latch. The animal weight of a cat that has chosen your chest as a bed because you are to her reliable geography. On Saturday, I found a note under my door in Nora's handwriting. "I'm sorry," it said. I believed she was. Then I put the paper in the drawer with the warranties and the things I keep for proof that a thing existed, and ended. On Monday, I tightened a railing on the 23rd floor of a building that forgets it holds people up. My drill hummed. The screw found wood. The rail settled into the wall like it had been waiting for it to commit. When I leaned my weight on it, it didn't move. I like that feeling. I'm going to keep it. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever felt like you were the only one who knew the truth, I hope this helped you feel a little less alone. Hit that like button if you've ever had to fix something that was truly broken, and subscribe for more stories. Stay strong.